What up? It's been a while. Sorry for the late video. I'll get straight to the point. These two new classes, Phantom and Etoile, are they any good to take as a subclass? And I'll be honest, Phantom is not a very good class to take as a fighter. The reason for this is because I'm gonna put up the damage numbers up on screen, and you can see Hunter is actually slightly ahead of both the subclasses at about like 10.7 million, while Etoile is lacking a little bit behind, just at 10.5 million, while Phantom's at 9.7 million. That's a huge damage difference between Phantom and the rest of the two classes. Now, to be fair, I can't fully utilize the crit bonus you get from having about like 300 PP. I've only get like about 248 as a Phantom sub. So I'm not fully utilizing critical stream, and because of that, I think at the very least you would be able to match identical damage numbers to Etoile when you do have that 300 PP. Now, I might be wrong. You might just get like a small increase in DPS, maybe like at least 10 million now. Yeah, you've definitely hit at least 10 million if you had 300 maximum PP. However, I'm not so sure Phantom would be able to overtake Hunter. It may be able to match evenly with Etoile, but honestly, I would advise against Phantom due to lack of survival options you have. With Hunter, you at least have Iron Will. Gives you a chance to survive any fatal blow. And Etoile gives you really high damage reductions. 70% damage reduction. And an extra damage reduction bonus if you get consecutively hit within a short amount of time. So multi-hitting attacks won't harm you as much as it would, which is really nice, since fighters usually gotta like, their iframes are not very great when it comes to multi-hitting attacks, but with this Etoile boost, it'll help out a lot. What is there else to say? Alright, so should I keep my Phantom sub, Hunter sub, my bad, then? Honestly, no. I would suggest swapping over to Etoile due to the damage reduction benefits. You're able to tank things, and being able to tank things in Overload is amazing, especially with this with episode 6 content where enemies are hitting extremely hard. So if you're in Overload, you can potentially die in a single hit. So, and I like to make a big shout out to this S augment, Overflowing Life 5. Increases max HP by 50% while Overload is in effect. This effect applies before Overload, so your Half-Line and Deadline Slayers will still be active while always active in Overload. So that is an amazing help. It's just amazing. It allows you to tank even more so. So pair that up with Etoile sub, and you should be pretty fine when it comes to survivability. Of course, you're gonna occasionally need star atomizers, as they are fast to throw down if you have the, what is it called, ring? I believe it's in the atomizer fanatic. It's so good. You get iframes when throwing the star atomizer, and you just heal very quickly. You throw it very quickly. Iframes, easy healing. I cannot stress that enough. It's amazing to have, especially since you cannot be healed as Etoile as effectively. Your mates, your atomizers, will still heal you up properly, but healing effects from Resta won't. And if you're curious of how, will Overload still fully heal me? Yes, it will still fully heal you, if even with Etoile's little, where is it? Oh, there it is. Healing penalty, massive healing penalty. Sorry, losing train of thought. I don't have like a script or anything. So yeah, I'm just going on top of my head. What else do you get from Etoile as a sub? Well, of course you get these attack bonuses, which is pretty much mandatory to fully maxed out, in my opinion. Well, really crappy thing to say, my opinion. Of course you want to max this out. You get more damage, you get a higher crit rate. This is damage reduction. These are basically must-haves. These three, this is must-have. Maxing out this is also a must-have. And then just dumping all your points onto these four is really good to have. And you might be wondering, what about HP Restorate? Why is this not max? Why do you put flat attack bonus when you shouldn't be perfect attacking in the first place? Honestly, you're right, and you're also kind of wrong. Because HP Restorate isn't as good as you would think. I believe it requires you to have half of your current max HP. And why I say current max HP is because HP Restorate will, like, let's say you overload. You overload and your max HP becomes 500. Well, HP Restorate, Etoile's HP Restorate will update itself to match up with that new max HP. So it will require you to be at 250 or below to just passively start healing. And in my opinion, it's not worth it because I never felt like the healing regen is fast enough, nor is very useful since you need to be under 250 HP if your overload sets you at 500. Which is why I put points into flat attack bonus. Even though I won't be using it much, at least it's just in case I screwed things up. It's nice to have. Now you might be wondering, what about this? Same arts PP preservation. Well, I only recommend putting like 3 points into this in order to, for a few reasons why. The more points you put into this, the decrease rate decreases, which means you won't get like a high. Okay, this is kind of hard to explain. Let me re-explain myself. What this move does is for each time you use the same photon arts, the same attacks, your PP cost for each consecutive attack photon art will be reduced by this percentage, by 8% at level 3. The more levels you put onto this, the less this decrease rate becomes. And you might be wondering, why would you ever want to increase the skills level then? Because it also increases the maximum. Now, at level 1, you get a 10% maximum and a 10% decrease rate, which means all you gotta do is just use the same move again once and you're already at its maximum limit. But at level 3, you're gonna need, it increases the limit to 25, which is good, which is a lot better than 10%. But you won't be able to, you're gonna have to like reuse the moves about like 3 times to reach that percentage. If you understand what I'm saying. I believe at level 10, it's like a 5% decrease rate, and the maximum becomes like 70 or 60 or something, or 50 or something like that. That's like, what? You need to spam the same move like 5, 6, 7 times in order to hit that maximum? In short, just to make things not sound very complicated, just put 1 or 3 points into this. Tech Arts bonus. How this works is very similar to this skill, Tech Arts Perfect Attack bonus, where you get a bonus each time you use a different photon art within your combo. It's basically the same thing. So they do stack, you get more damage, and your PP cost decreases. However, the only difference is that you can spam the move 3 times and still have the same PA 3 times before the bonus expires. Unlike this skill where the bonus expires if you dare to attack again with the same photon art. So this is pretty good. Get all of these. Honestly, it's up to you whether or not you want flat attack bonus or put those 5 points into HP rest rate. It's down to personal opinion, honestly. I just like having a what-if scenario of like, oh, I messed up. At least I get some damage over just HP regen that I'll just most likely throw a Star Atomizer when I'm always low in health during Overload. As that's how I usually always play. Just throw down a Star Atomizer when I'm low in health. So, in short, I would recommend just sticking with Etoile as a subclass for fighter. While Hunter is indeed still a little bit stronger than Etoile, and if you're really lucky, you can just keep on living with Iron Will. I still hate gambling. I hate gambling with chance. This 75% chance honestly feels like 40% chance with my personal experiences with Iron Will. So yeah, that's it for subclasses. I don't think I mentioned this. Okay, so in the last video I made, I kind of gave Safeguard a really bad, I kind of just badmouth Safeguard, saying, which is wrong of me, because Safeguard did get buffed, and this buff makes Safeguard really good. Unbelievably good. To the point where, like, I would recommend taking Safeguard now, because it's only 5 seconds if it activates, and then an additional 5 more for each time it activates in a row. When I mean in a row, I mean if you Safeguard and then on your next Overload you successfully just live those 60 seconds, my bad, the penalty goes away. It's cleaned, resetted. So if the next time you fail, your penalty does not stack. It goes back to 5 seconds. While before, it's 15 seconds. Though I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if that reset, if that penalty reset did existed before the change, as I never really used a Safeguard before the buff. Before the buff, Safeguard was really bad. It was 15 seconds, and then 5 seconds for each Safeguard you fail, or it activates. So you can potentially be losing out. Just 2 Safeguards back to back will net you like, what, 15, 20, 35, yeah, 35. I'm being stupid. You lose 35 seconds of not being in, well, I want to say lose. You'll wait 35 seconds more than usual, which is kind of a lot for Safeguard. That's like already activating Safeguard kind of deal. So, but yeah, back then it was a really bad skill, but now I recommend taking it, but on one condition. I would not advise to take Safeguard if you're kind of new to fighter and you're having trouble surviving as with Overload. If you see yourself dying a lot with Overload, I would recommend not taking Safeguard, as you really do need to get in the habit of trying to survive without Safeguard. It's only when you get used to Overload to the point where you're using it always and you're only seeing yourself dying like between 0 to 2 times in a single quest or urgent, then I'll say it's acceptable to take Safeguard then, because you basically kind of learned how to utilize Overload well, how to survive in Overload. But until then, just don't take Safeguard if you see yourself dying a lot. For me, I usually don't die in urgents anymore, unless it's like a new urgent and I'm unfamiliar with the enemies or layout or whatnot. But once I do get the hang of things, I only really die very rarely if I decide to screw around or whatever. And when that does occur, not being dead and just having 5 seconds added to my cooldown doesn't really matter, when I can just reset whenever I do my Overload next time and live those 60 seconds. So yeah, I never thought I would say this, but Safeguard is actually pretty usable now. Is there any new changes? Yes. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys already know this, but coffee now has, what do they call it? Built-up PAs. I recommend unlocking this as soon as you can, because it deals ridiculous amount of damage once you get your Knuckles built-up PA. It's really strong and has pretty good range, both in terms of just distance and how wide it is. For instance, I can hit enemy from here to those tables, and the area is, the width is just about the same, I'll say. It's pretty, actually, maybe about here I can hit them. Maybe back here it'll miss, but like closer here, yes, I probably do hit them. It's really strong. It's really powerful. I highly recommend putting that on your sub palette as soon as you can, and try maxing out its stocks whenever you can. So you might be wondering, okay, what is this sub palette layout you have going here? Why do you have moves over here instead of over here when you can just reach over, hit the numbers? Another thing I would recommend is checking out the options, controls, keyboard. Scroll down until you see cycle weapon palette, call up sub palette. I suggest playing around with this, rebinding them to keys that you feel very comfortable with. I have like a mouse with a lot of buttons. In fact, on its side, it's just literally a keypad with maybe like 3 extra buttons, so a total of 12 buttons onto my side, allowing me to essentially just move around my selected sub palette, as you can see the highlighted icons, and then I can bring them up with another button, and then I can also swap weapons in case I want to exploit an enemy's weakness, or if I can also switch my sub palettes out in case I want a dark blast or a shift essence, or use sliding uppercut. Need to use a Trimate in case I'm out of star atomizers, or use a photon blast. I'm losing my voice here. But yeah, in short, I recommend just trying out all keybinds, see which one feels the most comfortable. Of course, you don't have to do this. This just helps out since Knuckles has a lot of good PAs that you should be using. I've already mentioned this beforehand. One last very important thing I forgot to mention about is it recently has drawn my attention that if you use overload right as you get hit, you will miss out on your overload. And when I mean miss out, I mean overload will not activate, but you will wait 90 seconds for the cooldown, overload cooldown, for using overload, even though for some reason overload doesn't activate or whatnot. Basically, do not get hit at the same time as you activate overload. It sucks. It sucks a lot waiting for those 90 seconds. Do not get hit right as you use overload. It sucks. It sucks when it happens. It really fucking sucks. That's about it. If you guys got any questions or anything you guys want me to cover, like maybe augments, perhaps. I don't really see a lot of people with proper augmenting, or they think augmenting is kind of difficult. In reality, augmenting it's not hard to learn, honestly. But yeah, of course, it's kind of time consuming and expensive. I still haven't augmented my Trailblazer arms yet to be up to date. I'm still using this very obsolete unit that I should replace as soon as I can. But yeah, if you guys want me to cover augmenting, I'll be happy to. I actually like the fixing in this game, except for upslotting. Upslotting just sucks. It sucks a lot. Word of advice, don't try to upslot anything unless it's maybe units, and even then you only want to upslot probably the 5 or 6 slots on your units. Always try to have your weapons on 8 slots if you possibly can, or at least upslot during boost week, because it sucks. It really sucks trying to upslot something.